Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for you today. So I'm happy to say that this is part one of a two-part series of my interview with Tom Nash. Now, if you don't know who Tom Nash is, this video is for you because we're going to talk about his early days, why he chose finance, why he started a YouTube channel. We're going to talk a bit about sports, we're going to talk a bit about movies, etc. We're going to obviously talk about investing, stocks, bringing up a portfolio diversification or not diversification, all of that in this part. In the second part, which should come out tomorrow, we're going to talk a bit more about Palantir, about Elon Musk, Alex Karp, and Tesla. So if you're interested in that, stick around, hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. It's free. And if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe later. And I'm really trying to reach 20,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So I would really appreciate that. Now, without further ado, enjoy. All right, so first up, a bit of an introduction, like who's Tom Nash? Why did you choose finance? And then eventually, why did you choose to move into YouTube, FinTube?
Okay. So my real name obviously is not Tom Nash. It's just a stage name I use.
What?
Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And yet nobody knows my real name exactly the way I like it. I'm a guy who spent many years working in this industry. A graduate of the University of Michigan, who just, by the way, won the Big Ten championship for the first time in 17 years.
Yeah, congrats on the game last week. I think it was a big one, no?
Last week it was even more important than this week. You're right. I don't know how you knew this, but this 100% correct. Last week was the big. It's like Everton beating Chelsea for the first time in 25 years. This is exactly what happened, bro. Not Chelsea, Liverpool. Sorry, I got confused with yeah. It's wrong rivalry. So Arsenal, Chelsea. Then I guess I don't know. Whatever it is.
Fortunately, Chelsea lost this weekend, so.
Yeah. So yeah, it was the first time in 20 years that they actually won, and then they went on to play in the Big Ten championship, which is something they haven't won also in 20 years. They won it, and now they're going to play for the whole thing, for the 14 playoff. But this is not why we're here, right? To talk about college sports. So I spent many years in the financial industry, working a bunch of different roles, mainly as an analyst. I worked in transactional services, working on due diligence and vendor due diligence and company valuations and employee stock option valuation and market research, stuff like that. For the past, I want to say 2 years, I don't know how long it's been, I've been doing strictly YouTube. This started as a hobby many years ago. I've been doing YouTube for fun since 2015.
Okay.
So for a long time, I never took it seriously. What actually ended up happening is I decided that I want to move away from this industry. I cannot do it anymore. I got burned out. And I had no idea what I'm about to do. I was willing to do anything, just not that.
Yeah.
And as I made the decision to leave with no parachute or plan B or nothing, I just said, I'm done. As it happened, the channel started picking up all of a sudden. So I was like, okay, I guess that's what I'm doing now.
Not bad.
Yeah, and I haven't looked back since. It was a wild ride, and it still is. I'm enjoying every freaking second of it. It's a blast. Not people think it's the numbers or the money. It's neither. It's the insane ego trip when you can talk and people listen, bro. That's the high you get as a creator.
Yeah.
Like most people, like you're a creator, you know what I'm talking about. It's not about like it's the money's nice, the numbers are great, fine. But like the real ego trip, why we do this is like we just get a high from so many people listening and caring about what we have to say. That's what motivates me. Selfishly, that is, but there's not even the question like why I'm doing this. I'm kind of the the man on the park bench in the Hyde Park on crack. It's a good description, I think. Yeah. So it's been a blast, enjoying every minute of it.
All right. And also people think that when you're on YouTube, you automatically make millions. Like even if you get 100,000 of views per video, nowhere near millions of dollars per month, per year.
Not per month. No, not per month. not not per month. I probably currently, if you freeze what I make currently, I'm on pace right now to do about 600,000 a year. It's nice, but it's nothing. It's not very different from the money I used to make working in the industry. To be
Yeah.
honest, I mean, with bonuses, I probably close 300 or 400, um, and, and then yeah, it's a little bit better, but
Well, at least you have the
it's not.
freedom.
Yeah, I guess the main thing is not you have the freedom, but this I could have gotten working as a carpenter. That's not the point. The point is like I legitimately enjoy. I get to choose every day what I want to talk about, which is exciting, and then people fucking listen. That that's not something you can just take for granted.
Mhm.
Most of human beings want to be listened. They want to be heard. Nobody wants to listen. They all just wait their turn to speak, right? And like imagine like I that's I'm telling you this is the greatest high ever. Like just sitting back and deciding, okay, because I'm kind of like a quasi. I wouldn't say like I do news like Kevin does news. So he'll just go and cover whatever story is out there today, and he'll make like 5, 6, 7 different videos in a day, covering every single thing that happens. I'm kind of more kind of a columnist. If you watch
Yeah.
my stuff, it's like I pick something that interests me, or maybe 2 or 3 things, and I'll just give my opinion about it. I'll update, but I really want to add my own interpretation into this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
my value, not just reporting the news, which is fine. It's just I need a story. Like I
Mhm.
don't want to report stats or numbers or well, this stock has done this and this stock has that. I want to like I'm looking for the interesting stories. Like for
Yeah.
example, like when the
And Bilzerian one, the
yeah,
Ignite.
Belzere was a good story. It was a good story. I enjoyed it, but it ran its course. People want me to make more of the same. It's like
Hmm.
asking a musician to make the same record they already did.
Yeah.
It's not interesting to me. I said what I have to say about this company. I don't think nothing changed. Uh, the numbers they're presenting are better, but I mean, I can probably tear it apart if I want to. But I feel like I moved on. I don't want to be the Dan Bilzerian guy.
Yeah.
It's like making the same music every fucking. So like I enjoy taking shots at people. Like I don't know if you saw it, but like I stole a bit from Jon Stewart.
Okay.
Nobody caught this. There's a classic bit when Jon Stewart goes at Kramer for telling people to buy Bear Stearns before they went bankrupt.
Hmm.
You're probably too young, so you don't know the fuck what I'm talking. It's like I don't know how old you are, but this was like
27. No.
2000.
Yeah. No, I know John Stewart hierarchy, but the clip I
No, no.
don't know.
So basically, like the big crash that happened in 2008.
Hmm.
This is what we're referring to. Like you were 14 when this happened, so
Yeah,
this wasn't on your interest list. But I was working in the industry already, and I remember how it felt like. So this was like what you're feeling now is nothing, bro. It's like imagining everything ending, like
for sure.
apocalyptic feeling. I could never describe how bad things were. Like this is the first real crash I've because I haven't lived through 2000. I only heard about, but 2008, I felt like what a real crash feels like. It's a completely like hopeless situation. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it
No,
feels
for
horrible.
sure. Like what's happening now is I don't know how it was in
Nothing.
2008,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's nothing. Like
This is
2008, people
nothing, bro.
were desperate.
People
Were like,
like Tom, why are you so relaxed? It's a motherfucker. You know where I've been. Like this is nothing. So basically, uh, there were two banks that collapsed. The Lehman Brothers collapsed and Bear Stearns collapsed. And Kramer was hyping up Bear Stearns, telling people to buy it and whatnot. And Jon Stewart made the whole video, and then Kramer got annoyed. So Jon Stewart made an apology video saying, "Well, Kramer didn't tell you to buy it. He told you that your money is safe, probably if you invest in it. But he told you that 2 weeks earlier." And then they found a clip of him 2 weeks earlier going like, "Buy, buy, buy," and like I did the same thing on my channel with Didi. I don't know
with
if you
Didi,
caught
yeah,
that video.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a Jon Stewart clip. I thought everybody would catch it, but I guess I'm too old. Nobody knows the original, the
Hmm.
homage to the Jon Stewart bit.
This is going to be
People
the
like
new one.
Tom. This is like a funny video. No, it's not even mine. It's a stolen bit. Like there was nobody caught that. Maybe one or two persons in the comment section. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes I use references from Curb Your Enthusiasm, and even that's maybe a bit too old for some
Yeah,
viewers.
yeah.
So it is
Like
what
I
it
don't
is.
even try to go Seinfeld. Sometimes like Seinfeld, there's no point. Nobody remembers now. Maybe just like
It's
stuff like the soup Nazi. That's the only thing they'll know.
yeah, it's a
Nothing
shame.
beyond that. Yeah, or yada 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 stuff like that. Like,
And now we can
um,
maybe use a bit of a serenity now in the next couple of minutes.
oh, serenity now, insanity later. Mr. Art Vandelay.
I'm an architect.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode where all the alter egos met in the same apartment?
Yeah, of course.
Cinco de Mayo.
I'm rewatching everything now actually because
Yeah.
it's on Netflix, so
So
it's
watch the
much
Cinco de
easier.
Mayo episode where they all meet. Is like Pennypacker, Van Nostrum, Mr. Vanderlei.
Because they needed the bathroom, right? Or it's this is
Yeah,
another.
yeah.
Yeah,
They all needed to take a piss, and they were in the traffic jam because of Cinco
yeah.
de Mayo.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's
My
a
name is
good TV show.
yeah. Good TV show, brilliant writing.
Yeah.
Uh, we didn't know when we were watching this that it's not Jerry who wrote the show. It was actually uh, Larry David who
Mhm.
wrote everything. So I can't watch Curb. By the way, I'm the only one who cannot watch Curb.
You cannot watch it. Why
I'm
not?
cringed out. I cannot handle this. I feel like Larry takes the cringe button and he like goes ballistic on Curb. I'm gonna like
Yes.
I feel comfortable with the way it was on Seinfeld when it was kind of on medium
Hmm.
setting. Like Curb, just like I identify with the characters and like I feel like gut wrenching. I don't feel like enjoyment laughing at their misfortune because everybody gets screwed in the show all the time.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, man. Anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of I don't know how we got to this point. Um, but yeah, that's me, and I just writing this thing as long as I can, just because
Mhm.
I can because I'm older, I can appreciate, I can know when the good times are in real time and not post factum. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
for
the
sure.
toughest thing to know. When is that good time? You're gonna be like, oh, this was amazing.
No, for sure. Did you always want to go into finance? Like when you were younger?
No, I wanted to. I went to law school actually. I had no
Hmm.
idea I'll go into finance at all. I went to law school, and what happened is that I got into a program where you could study for. You can do the law school, but or you could also start prepping for the MBA. Like you can start
Okay.
taking courses for an MBA, and then you transition. Like you graduate, and then you transition into a full blown MBA. So for like this, it's a really cool concept to be honest, because it gives you a lot of like the legal education gives you a lot of tools that quant people never had in this business, which I feel is a huge disadvantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Makes you think outside
so
of the
once I
box.
started going for the like when I was done with law school and I was doing like the MBA, I was like, this shit is way more interesting, bro. This is not like law school was excruciating. It was like going to a dentist, bro. But this stuff was like it was amazing. Learning about finance, accounting, marketing,
Mhm.
data systems, like every like some of it wasn't amazing. Like learning technical accounting, how to balance a balance sheet is fucking. It's not fun and it's fucking difficult. People don't know how hard it is. And but apart from that, everything was like insanely fun. Had great professors, including with practical experience. Yeah, it was a blast.
All right. And what would you say was your biggest experience in life?
It's a very tough question. You mean professionally or in general?
No, in general.
Uh, okay, so I'll tell you a story. This is a like it's a story that I tell it to myself to remind myself. Uh, So there was a long time ago. We just moved to a new house. We all like money was never like an issue because when you work in this industry, you sacrifice the time and you sacrifice a lot of the like family connections and whatnot and friends and whatnot. Well, it was never issue. A good house, a great house. Um, um, and essentially the neighbors that were across across the street from us just decided to fucking plant these. I don't know how they got these motherfuckers. They brought in like real like fucking sequoia trees to plant in their fucking back with trucks and whatnot. I don't know how do you even move these fucking trees, bro. It's insane. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But these motherfuckers just completely blocked off our view of like they were like in prison, bro. It's like living in the middle of a forest. So I get really upset, and I wanted to go and talk to them, basically to tell what the fuck. And then I was like, the easiest thing for me to go and just fucking explode and get angry. Then I thought to myself, well, it's not a huge deal. And I'm my gut feeling is telling me to go ballistic, but like there's always going to be something else that's going to bother me unless I just learn to accept life and just enjoy the curveballs. So, and some people say, well, Tom, you're a pussy. You didn't confront them. Okay, fine. I feel it was a different decision process for me because I actually had to fight my own demons, not to go and start a fight with the neighbors. Um, but then I basically realized there's always gonna be some new tree, you know, in your life that's making you unhappy.
Yeah,
There's
for
always
sure.
this promotion you want, or always some annoying boss at work, or there's always gonna be something, and just trying to constantly be unhappy about things that are bothering you and just ignoring this phenomenal house you just got. It's kind of I was like, okay, you have to learn just to not chase this fantasy of how this like everything has to be perfect. And that's how I knew that I need to leave. Like when I because of this example, like when I knew that this was it for me. I cannot work anymore in this environment. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun anymore. I felt it was real, not kind of a whim, because I've kind of learned through my life just to grind it out and not complain because
Yeah.
of that. That story was like a, but that also gives you the perspective to basically come out and say, well, you know what, like this is for real. Like I don't want to do this anymore. And yeah, walked off. So I guess the lesson would be, pick your battles. Like just flow with the go with the punches a little bit and don't make a fuss about every little thing that bothers you.
Right. Very, very nice. Very nice answer. I'm going to jump a bit more into the investing type of
Yeah, let's talk
questions.
shop. Let's talk shop.
So I've got questions actually from one of the subscribers. Like with so many stocks to invest, probably also great companies out there, how does one decide how to build his portfolio? Do you believe in diversification, or do you believe in like, let's just go with two or one highest conviction stock and let's see how it goes?
I think that's the wrong question. I have an answer for this, and I don't think it's either one of these options. I don't think it has to be one or two
Mm-hmm.
or 100. There's good balance is probably somewhere in the middle. I think it's the wrong question. Like when you go, like I feel like when you trying to pick and choose companies you want to buy because you are buying companies, you're buying fractional pieces of these companies, but you are buying businesses. So would you want to, if I offer you, hey, let's go and buy a mining business in Africa? You would laugh at me. You would say, well, I don't know nothing about the mining business in Africa. What am I supposed to like? How would we even know how much we pay for this? How would we know how to manage? Like, we don't know nothing about this business. Why would we? And people just think because they buy a piece of paper, they can discount that part of the job and basically say, well, I'm investing into this medical company. I know nothing about the medicine, nothing about the drug. Yeah, sounds good. The explanation,
Yeah.
sounds reasonable. It's like motherfucker, like this is not how you invest. Like when you invest, you have to understand you're buying a company. And so what I try to do is I try to stay in the lane that I understand. I understand technology, I understand software, and I understand innovation and growth. I don't understand. I have some in my portfolio to balance it out. I don't understand banking. I don't understand infrastructure. I don't understand industrials. I definitely do not understand commodities. I don't understand really cryptocurrencies that much, which is a shame. I should.
Could
It's
have been
something
a
I need to.
billionaire by
Yeah,
buying
that's
shit
it,
coins.
to my detriment. To my detriment. I do not even buying shit coins, buying even Bitcoin. I would have been way better in position. But I'm saying to my detriment. I don't. So I try to stay in the stuff that I have. I feel an advantage on other people as far as understanding the business, because most of my clients throughout the years came from this industry, from the tech, telecom, media, software, SaaS business. So I understand it really, really well. So my advice in this sense is just if you are going to buy companies, which is what we're doing on the stock market, buy companies in which you feel like you have a relative advantage over 99% of people. So if you're a doctor, focus on pharmaceuticals and medical devices. If you're a real estate guy, focus on real estate. If you're a finance guy, maybe banking, maybe like a company like SoFi or a company like a PayPal or a firm or Mastercard. I don't know. If you are a veterinarian, then do whatever. Pets is huge business. So again, we can go on and on. If you an IT guy, Snowflake, Palantir, companies like that, Datadog, Cloudflare, CrowdStrike. I don't know. So basically, try to use whatever skill set you have to give yourself an edge, because otherwise you're coming into a gunfight with a knife, pretty much, which is not a good recipe.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like one of my favorite investors is Peter Lynch, and he always said like knowing what you invest. If you don't know what you're
Exactly.
holding, when it's down, you have no clue why it's down. When it's up, you won't ask any questions because you're up, but it can change very, very, very fast. Um, it's a good
Yeah,
answer
even
to.
if you don't understand the industry, educate yourself about it. Let's say you really want to invest in a company in an industry you don't understand nothing about. This is 2021. You can become an expert in this within 2 weeks if you just put in the time.
Yeah,
It's so easy right now. It's not 1984. You can actually become an expert in anything if you just have the time.
you,
So
you
at
chose
least
the
do
year.
that. Like certain people on YouTube promote this style of investing without even looking at the business model of the company, without looking what the company does, what's the total addressable market, what's the business model, just by looking at the multiples and like very technical aspects of what they call fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis, for the most part, is understanding the business, knowing who the management is, how good are the CEO and the board, what kind of business they have. It's not about how much cash they have, how much assets they have, how much liabilities, and how much shares they've issued in the past year, how much dilution. It's way more about the business. You need to understand it.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think 2020 has produced way too many like short-term momentum investors, where obviously in 2020, whatever you bought went up, regardless
Yeah.
of what the heck they're doing. But 2021 has been flushing out those short-term investors because behind every ticker, there is a company behind, there is a business behind,
Yep.
employees, management. Like you need to know that the ticker does not go up and down. Okay, maybe sometimes it goes up and down with no reason, but eventually in the long term, if you want to hold it for long term, you need to understand what's happening behind that.
Yeah.